Hello everyone, Richter here and welcome back to another Torchlight Infinite video. Today I already started leveling another character, the Ares, which you might have seen in the other video. However, I wanted to complete the goal of finishing POB 40 on moto. So I decided to throw some things that I had lying around the stash and try to come up with a solution to the damage and the survivability. I don't know if you saw in the Ares video, I dropped a precise 21 elemental resistance, which gave me a massive boost. Already using elemental resistance was very good, but being able to reach the cap that the elemental resistance aura was providing was very steep. But with the precise version, that kind of solves the problem of having to get the elemental resistances on the gear. So it was just a matter of solving a little bit of the erosion res, for which I used the um, the other tree is Steel Vanguard. Grabbed a couple of points in Steel Vanguard for erosion res, and then the elemental res you can get a little bit from the pack spirits from the default slate. And I basically use damage reduction, one damage reduction pet for especially physical damage and overall damage reduction. So with the Hell Cavalry, which is a purple pet, you get 1.5 plus 1.5, that's 30%, you get 6%. And if you have it at least level 3, you get an additional 4% for 7% additional damage taken reduction. And the default page has, I think, 8% less physical damage taken as well. So physical is the greatest problem with the elemental resistance aura. So what you do is in Steel Vanguard, you grab a node that says that converts 12% of physical damage to a random elemental damage, and we use Frost Shield, and that way the physical mitigation becomes much easier to deal with. Frost Shield with Iron Fortification. I already have some armor on the gear, around, not too much, around 7,000 armor, which is roughly 20% phys mitigation. So it's 20 from there, 20 from Frost Shield, and 8% something from the spirits. That leads to around 6% physical mitigation if I can do math. So that was the plan, and then the other problem I had to solve was the recovery. So for recovery, I decided to use the Summon Frost Spirits. I was already using Summon Frost Spirit, but Protection Field. It makes the minion taunt. It gives you 9% damage mitigation, and Precise Superpower increases the effect of the Origin Spirit Magos. In this case, the Frost Spirit gives you a ton of regen. 6% is the base, but you're grabbing the increase effect from Superpower, which is level 16, by the way. It's not even level 20. And that in itself is granting me around 600 life regeneration per second. Yeah, from 200 to 400 life regeneration per second on top of the ones I'm already grabbing from the tree, which it's a decent layer of recovery. And for the later stages of this fight, I decided to change my movement skill, especially for the boss fight, to change my movement skill for Life Source with the activation medium life, which is very cheap, and it's one of the mediums that you can actually farm in the T7 version of the league mechanic. So dropping this is not very difficult because the pool of mediums that can be dropped from the early levels is not that big. And in this case, I used a 53% version without realizing it because I would have liked to use the 80% version that I already had. But for some reason, I used the 50% version, but that seemed to serve me well. I only died a couple of times in the latest stages of the fight. So as you may be watching in the background, this was a very kind of slow encounter. This is POV4. The mobs are kind of tanky and they deal a lot of damage, especially starting from wave 36. They become quite strong. And this character, as I mentioned in my previous video, is not great. I have expensive stuff on the character, and the damage is barely affordable for this type of content, and the survivability is decent, probably higher than average. But it's because I'm heavily investing into it, not because the character has natural layers of survivability, which you can get, but when you're already sacrificing so much to get damage, you can't really afford to become tankier because you can only be uh, as tanky as you can be without having to. Eventually, the mobs are gonna kill you, so you're better off getting a little bit more damage than trying to become unkillable because you cannot do that unless you're doing some aura shenanigans. So that's all I had for this video. This is for sure probably gonna be the last video on this character, but I did want to complete the POB challenge. And if you check the ladder for NA, there's only two order calling motos that have completed the challenge. One is Valkyrie, so he was trolling me, telling me that he was going to be able. He started a charge calling. He told me that he was going to level order calling, uh, transfers his gear, and clear it, and he did. So the best way to play order calling is to don't start order calling, start something else, and maybe switch to the character if you really like it that much. At least in the current state of Torchlight at the moment. Oh, yeah. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. I'm gonna leave the build code for this version of the build on the description. If you want to iterate on it, uh, you can message me here or message me on the Discord, on the Torchlight Discord, regarding tweaks and stuff that I do for clear. But if you can get this and come up with something that can scale the character to the stratosphere without incurring insane investment as I already have, then that will be great. I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoy the outcome of this fight, and I'll see you in the next one.